Good morning, Miss. Okay, I will wait for 2 minutes. I will share screen now. Okay, Miss. So we are going to start now. I'm going to take attendance. Let's take attendance quickly before we start with the session. Maram Salha. Maram. Rihab. Rihab. I will allow you to unmute yourself. Sorry. I didn't allow you to unmute yourself. Okay. So Maram Salhab again. Rihab. Rihab.
Yes, miss.
Okay. Present.
Present.
Fatima. Fatima, quickly, please. Fatima.
Present.
Lin Shibani. Quickly. Unmute yourselves من هلا. Unmute yourselves from now. Zahra Dia.
Miss, I am present.
Lin Khalifa and Ali Khalifa are here. Okay. Zahra Dia. Zahra. Okay. Leia Ghrayib. Not here. Muhammad Fawaz. Not here. Hassan Saleh.
Present.
Huda.
Present.
Larissa.
Present.
Helene.
Present.
Dana. Ali Basma.
Present.
Hassan Jrade.
Present.
Asil Haidar.
Present.
Laris Shahab.
Present.
Razan.
Present.
Zahra. Saad.
Present.
Okay. So let's start now directly with the session. So today we are going to start with a new reading comprehension lesson. The lesson this week is very nice, very interesting. We are going to talk about something related to you as teenagers and what happens to some of the people who are facing learning disabilities. First of all, we are going to start with the theme launch. With the title of our theme. So the title of our theme for this week is Expressing Feelings. Who can tell me, what do we mean by expressing feelings? Yani when I say expressing someone is expressing his feelings, what do you mean by expressing his feelings?
It's showing showing how he feels.
Showing how we feel. Why is it important to show our feelings to others? Why is it important to express our feelings, to show others if we are upset, if we're happy, if we're excited? Yes, Zahra.
Because it's not good to keep it inside.
Very good, excellent. It's not good to keep it inside. It's going to overload us. It's going to, let's say, maybe you might feel depressed sometimes because of your bad feelings. You will feel hopeless because of your bad feelings. But if you share your feelings with someone, even if they are good or bad feelings, if you're happy or sad, if you're upset or excited, whatever, if you share your feelings with others, it means you are trying to become a better person. You are trying to find help. You are trying to ask for help in a different way. So it's very important to show others, yani, not anybody, of course, but people who are close to us, yani our family, our parents, our friends, our teachers. Sometimes it's not wrong to show people that we are sad. It's not wrong to show people that we are upset, that we are depressed, that we are angry, we are afraid of something, in order to find the help that we are willing to, in order to find the support that we want to have from other people. So, for example, if you are afraid of something and you didn't share this fear with others, you didn't express the feeling that you have, then you are going to live in this fear forever. You are not going to get rid of it. But if you expressed your feelings, you said that I'm afraid of this thing, someone might help you to face this fear. Someone might help you to, let's say, try to overcome this fear. So it's good to share our feelings with others, to express our feelings. Now we are going to talk about the lesson for this week. This week, we are going to talk about a student who had something called dyslexia. Okay, he faced from a certain disability, which is called dyslexia. Have you ever heard about this before, about dyslexia?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
So, okay, great. So today we are going to learn what is dyslexia, what happens to a person who has dyslexia. What happens to a person who has dyslexia, and how do we treat this disability? Added to that, our Jude, Habibi, leave because this is not your class. This is 7B. Okay. So we are going to watch now a video about the reasons of dyslexia and what is dyslexia. And they are going to explain to you now what is dyslexia. Then we are going to move to the reading lesson. Let's see. Watch the video carefully, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Take a moment to read the following. How was that? Frustrating? Slow? What were those sentences about? They're actually a simulation of the experience of dyslexia, designed to make you decode each word. Those with dyslexia experience that laborious pace every time they read. When most people think of dyslexia, they think of seeing letters and words backwards, like seeing B as D and vice versa, or they might think people with dyslexia see saw as was. The truth is, people with dyslexia see things the same way as everyone else. Dyslexia is caused by a phonological processing problem, meaning people affected by it have trouble not with seeing language, but with manipulating it. For example, if you heard the word cat and then someone asked you, remove the C, what word would you have left? At. This can be difficult for those with dyslexia. Given a word in isolation like fantastic, students with dyslexia need to break the word into parts to read it. Fan-tas-tic. Time spent decoding makes it hard to keep up with peers and gain sufficient comprehension. Spelling words phonetically like S-T-I-K for stick and F-R-E-N-S for friends is also common. These difficulties are more widespread and varied than commonly imagined. Dyslexia affects up to 1 in 5 people. It occurs on a continuum. One person might have mild dyslexia, while the next person has a profound case of it. Dyslexia also runs in families. It's common to see one family member who has trouble spelling, while another family member has severe difficulty decoding even one-syllable words like catch. The continuum and distribution of dyslexia suggest a broader principle to bear in mind as we look at how the brains of those with dyslexia process language. Neurodiversity is the idea that because all our brains show differences in structure and function, we shouldn't be so quick to label every deviation from the norm as a pathological disorder, or dismiss people living with these variations as defective. People with neurobiological variations like dyslexia, including such creative and inventive individuals as Picasso, Muhammad Ali, Whoopi Goldberg, Steven Spielberg, and Cher, clearly have every capacity to be brilliant and successful in life. So here's the special way the brains of those with dyslexia work. The brain is divided into 2 hemispheres. The left hemisphere is generally in charge of language and ultimately reading, while the right typically handles spatial activities. fMRI studies have found that the brains of those with dyslexia rely more on the right hemisphere and frontal lobe than the brains of those without it. This means when they read a word, it takes a longer trip through their brain and can get delayed in the frontal lobe. Because of this neurobiological glitch, they read with more difficulty. But those with dyslexia can physically change their brain and improve their reading. With an intensive multisensory intervention that breaks the language down and teaches the reader to decode based on syllable types and spelling rules, the brains of those with dyslexia begin using the left hemisphere more efficiently while reading, and their reading improves. The intervention works because it locates dyslexia appropriately as a functional variation in the brain, which naturally shows all sorts of variations from one person to another. Neurodiversity emphasizes this spectrum of brain function in all humans and suggests that to better understand the perspectives of those around us, we should try to not only see the world through their eyes, but understand it through their brains.
Okay, so as they started at the beginning of the video, they gave you a short paragraph, which is the letters are not in the correct order, the words are messed up and so on, and they asked you to read it. This was really depressing, and you cannot read these words correctly in this way. So this is what the people with dyslexia see. So the people with dyslexia cannot decode the words, and they cannot recognize all the letters. They cannot say the words correctly. As they said, they do not say friends, they say friends. So they skip the D and so on. But they mentioned something very important about the people with dyslexia, which is that these people are smart in other things, يعني, because their left brain is responsible about language and reading and so on, is weak. The other side of their brain is better. So they are creative people, and they are they create things, they are more related to art and so on. So even people with dyslexia have special abilities, which are very important to help them overcome this difficulty. Okay, now, why are we talking about dyslexia now? We are talking about this now because the story of the person in the reading lesson this week is about a student who suffered from dyslexia, and he didn't express this with others. He didn't express his fears with others. He was very afraid. He didn't have self-confidence at all. He was a very weak person until he met a teacher who understood that this person has dyslexia and helped him overcome this and helped him become a better person and accept himself as he is. So this is why we talked about dyslexia. So we cannot read the story and not know what do we mean by dyslexia. Does anyone have any comment about what we have watched now, or any question?
No.
Okay. Now, so did you all understand what do we mean by dyslexia?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Great. Now,
Yes.
okay, great. Now, guys, we are going to move to the genre of the lesson. Okay, as you know, from the beginning of the year, we were just covering informational texts, expository texts, and so on, in which these are passages and texts that give us information, right? Remember?
Yeah.
Yes. We haven't covered any different kind of genres. Now we are going to start with a new genre, which is a personal narrative. Before I start explaining what do we mean by a personal narrative, who can tell me what do we mean by narration? What do you mean by narrate?
We are narrating a story.
Yeah, to tell. Very good. To tell a story. So when I narrate a story, it means I'm telling a story. So when I say a personal narrative, it means a narrative story related to whom?
To
To
our
the
self.
narrator.
Of the writer.
To, very
or
good,
someone.
our personal life, to the writer, excellent. So when I say personal narrative, it means I'm talking about the writer himself. So I'm talking about the writer. So personal means talking about yourself as a writer. And narrative means narrating a story, telling a story. So when I say personal narrative, it means I am telling a story about myself, or a story that happened with me, or an experience that I have passed through. This is what we mean by a personal narrative. What do we include in a personal narrative? Again, in a personal narrative, we include a title, characters, problem, events, and solution, or a plot, because this is a story and it's a narrative writing, it's a story. How do we organize it? We organize it according to the sequence of events that happened with us. Yani, for example, I start my session, my story from the beginning. Yani, I start organizing the events in order from the beginning to the middle, to the end, to the solution, and so on. This is something very important in the narrative writing. What is the purpose of the narrative writing? Let me tell you something. When we were explaining the informational texts at the beginning of the year, يعني semesters 1 and 2, we said that the informational text has only one purpose. What was this purpose?
To inform.
Very good, to inform. So when I say informational text or expository text, it means I am giving information. So the purpose here is to inform. When I say personal narrative, يعني I'm narrating a story that happened with me as a writer. Am I giving you any information?
No.
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 Am I giving you any piece of advice?
No.
No, I'm just narrating a story that happened with me. So the purpose of a personal narrative writing is to entertain. Okay? يعني أنا when I am reading a personal narrative, it means I am just having fun. I'm entertaining myself. I'm reading this to have fun, to enjoy reading the story, not more than that. So every kind of genre or every kind of writing has a certain purpose. So the purpose of a narrative writing is to entertain the reader. Got it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Now,
Yeah.
we move to something else, which is the key features of a personal narrative. What do we mean by key features? When I say key features, it means I'm asking about the reasons. Why is this a personal narrative? How do I know that this passage or this text or this story is a personal narrative text? How? The first thing I have to look for is the story. Is there a story? Yes. Are there characters? Is there a problem, event, solution? يعني the story elements. Okay, the story elements. If yes, then this is a personal narrative. The second feature is that the writer uses I and me because the story is told from the first point of view. يعني, because I'm telling a personal narrative story and a personal narrative text, so something related to me as a writer. So of course I have to use the first point of view, يعني I and me. It expresses the writer's thoughts and feelings. In a personal narrative, the writer expresses his thoughts and his feelings. It develops the experience with narrative techniques such as dialogue and description. Pay attention to this. When I say develops the experience with narrative techniques, يعني the experience that the writer passed through is developed or explained with narrative techniques, with narrative elements. What are the narrative techniques? And the dialogue and description. يعني أنا when I say dialogue, it means in the personal narrative, sometimes you might find a dialogue, يعني a conversation between the characters. This develops the experience. This explains the experience more. and description, because sometimes also the writer needs to explain or to describe a certain character or a certain place or a certain situation in order to serve the idea. Moreover, it begins with an interesting lead and gives a sense of closure at the end. So usually personal narrative writings begin with an interesting beginning, interesting start, and they give a sense of closure at the end, يعني a sense of excitement at the end of the story. One more feature which is not written here is the tense used. In the narrative writing, any narrative, not only the personal narrative, any narrative writing, we usually use the past tense. Why do we use the past tense? We use the past tense because in a narrative writing, we are talking about... Guys, quiet, please. We are talking about an experience that happened with us in the past. وهلا we are trying to tell you this experience or to narrate a story about this experience. So when you are narrating, it means you are telling us about something that happened in the past. That's why we use the past tense in narrative writing, whether it was a personal narrative, whether it was a descriptive narrative, whether it was a narrative text. Is everything clear till now?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Okay, great. Let's now move to the vocabulary words. As you can see, guys, here we have statements, and every statement contains one vocabulary word, which is written in bold and underlined. I want you to take 2 minutes to read the sentences carefully and try to find out the meanings of the words through context. يعني find out the meanings of the words from the sentence. Okay, take 2 minutes and then I'll ask you about the meanings. Go ahead. Okay, ready?
Yes.
Yalla, let's start. The first sentence, substitute. Yes, Hassan. Hassan Jrade.
Yes.
Yalla ya Hassan,
You
I
can
want you to read the sentence.
substitute oil for butter while preparing cake.
You can substitute oil for butter while preparing cake. What do we mean by substituting oil for butter?
Like instead of another thing.
Excellent, Hassan. Instead of something else. Excellent. So when I say you can
Replace.
substitute oil for butter, it means you can use oil instead of butter, or butter instead of oil while preparing the cake. So when something is a substitute, it means something which is something or someone. And sometimes when a teacher is absent, you have a substitute teacher. So something or someone used in the place of something or someone else. Okay?
يعني
يلا يا
replace.
رزان. Number 2.
Yeah.
Encourage.
Encouraging. A few encouraging words might provide the support a person needs. Like when someone is hopeless, you make him feel like better. You could help him.
Very good. You could help someone who
Motivate.
is, let's say, depressed or something. You could help him by encouraging him, by supporting him, by motivating him. Excellent. Number 3, embarrassing. Those who shared, please put your hands down. Fatima. Yalla Fatima.
I'm ashamed of myself. Embarrassing. Yeah, it is very
Can you
embarrassing.
please read the sentence, Fatima?
It is very embarrassing for the broadcaster to forget his dialogue.
So it is very embarrassing for the broadcaster to forget his dialogue. It is very embarrassing for a student to forget his poem or the poem. So how do you feel when you are embarrassed? How do you feel?
Like ashamed of myself.
No, it's not feeling ashamed. If you fall in front of everyone, you will feel embarrassed.
Miss, I know the word, but I don't
Like
know
you
it
feel
in
shy.
Yes.
Okay, you feel shy, feeling shy, embarrassed. Dumb, we don't pronounce the B here, it's dumb. So Zahra Adia, Fatima, put your finger down. Zahra Adia, read the sentence, please.
Don't ask dumb questions, please.
Don't ask dumb questions, please.
Don't ask silly. لا.
Silly. Yes, why not? Silly, stupid
Silly, yeah.
questions.
Very silly question.
Yes, silly or
Silly
stupid
questions.
Very good, very good. Yes, Lil Khalifa. Number 5, awful.
We didn't enjoy the trip because the weather was awful.
Yes.
The weather was like bad.
Very bad, very good. How do you connect the meaning here? We didn't enjoy the trip. The weather was awful. So if the weather was good, you would have enjoyed the trip, right? This is how you try to guess the meanings through context. Huda, the last one, morning.
Moaning. The workers were all moaning about the amount of work they had. They were complaining.
Very good.
Whispering very low.
Maybe blaming, maybe complaining, maybe the workers were all moaning about the amount of work they had. So they were complaining. They weren't happy for the amount of work they had. Very good. Let's read the meanings of the words. Asil, يلا read them يا Asil.
Substitute, to use someone or something instead of another person or thing. Encouraging, making someone feel more hope and confidence. Embarrassing, making you feel shy or embarrassed. Dumb, stupid or silly. Awful, very bad. Moaning, to say that something is wrong or that you are angry about something.
Okay, so guys, we're going to stop here. We still have 3 minutes. I want to talk about 2 important things, which are the quiz and the Flipgrid activity. Let me talk about the Flipgrid because I'm going to send you the link today. The Flipgrid activity this week is about narrating a story. Okay, of course, you're going to see the topic, yani. Narrating a story that happened with you. You will see the topic about what. The most important thing, please try to upload your videos يعني not at the same time of the deadline day. Try to upload them before, because if you face any problem uploading, I can help you solve it. This is the first thing. The second thing, there is a new moderation in Flipgrid in which the topics are no more public. So when you are going to enter to the link, when you are going to get into the link, they are going to ask you about a username. The username is ISI. I will send this to your group, don't worry, but I'm telling you from now. So you put ISI, you record your video and you upload it. I will receive the video, but you will not see that it is received. يعني رح تضلكم تشوفوا 0 responses. Okay, because it's not public anymore. This is the first thing about Flipgrid. I will send you the link today at night, so you have 1 whole week to upload the video. The second thing that I'm going to talk about is the quiz. The quiz on Friday is about adjectives. Yani you have to revise the lecture of week 29, and I will send this to the parents group. So the quiz is a grammar quiz in the lesson adjectives. Comparison of adjectives and adjectives, يعني adjectives in general, the neutral adjectives, and also comparison of adjectives. It's not going to be difficult, through 2-3 exercises, same as the ones we solved in the lecture, not more. So these are the 2 things that I wanted to talk about for now. Thank you all for attending. I'll see you tomorrow to continue with the comprehension skill and with, yes.
But I have a question.
Yes,
And we have to narrate a story about what?
you will see in the prompt. And it's written.
Okay.
Record a maximum 3 minutes video about blah blah blah. You will see. I did it yesterday, but honestly, I forgot what is the prompt. So I will send the link today. Anyways, whenever you want to get into the link, they will ask you for a username. Just put ISI, and then you will have access to the link. Even though if they wrote the 0 responses, this doesn't show that yours is not uploaded. بيكون uploaded. I received it. But you cannot see the responses because it's no more public. Thank you all, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Bye, Miss.
Bye.
Bye, Miss.
Bye.